Hey sewing friends! So today I want to talk with you about the Quince day robe. So I downloaded this for free from Seamwork Patterns. They were having a special. It was like, hey, get to know Seamwork Patterns. And my review is going to be meh on this one, and I'll explain to you why I think it's a little bit meh. And I'll explain to you that I love it better today than I loved it yesterday, which is when I wrote my review that I said meh. But I definitely do love it better today. Like it better today. I don't love it. So this day robe is a classic kimono style garment, and it's designed to be super easy to sew. And the reason why it's designed super easy to sew is because it's basically rectangles. And when I show you this, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the front pattern piece. And as you can see here, it's got this extension here, which is a perfect right angle. Don't love this, and I'll explain why. This is the sleeve attachment. So the sleeve is just basically a rectangle that's a tube, and the cuff is a rectangle that's tube. This is a slightly angled front, but the band that goes on is a rectangle as well. And then the whole thing, whether you're doing it the mid-hip version right here, or whether you're doing the long version as I've made here, is just a rectangle. So that leads it to a really traditional sort of kimono type shape, which is okay. Now I made this in a 12 because it's considered very oversized, and when I put it on yesterday I didn't love it. I put it on today with different garments. I'm wearing the Pietro pants from Closet Core, and I have on just a regular t-shirt, not a sweater or anything else, and I do like it a little better. But let me give you a view of the back. So you can see that the back has got definitely some drape, and part of it is that there's not any shaping here at the hips, so it'll tend to kind of come down and appear like it cups you at the bottom here. It really isn't. It's just because it's straight, right? And any kimono style jacket will do that. But the things I didn't absolutely love about it is I didn't really love the undersleeve attachment here. I mean, I think I ended up doing a good job, but it's a little bunchy and they have you pivot at the corner. I think rounding this off would be a lot better, and that would be a change I would make for the next time. Now the cuffs are nice. They're big and wide, and you sew them on nicely. And by the way, this is a stable knit, so this probably acts a little bit more like a woven. There's no stretch to this at all vertically, and very little stretch horizontally. So this acts a little bit more like a drapey woven fabric, and it's in like this kind of faux suede-ish. So while I didn't love it in the first place, I'll tell you why I didn't love it. I make the way a designer tells you to make it the very first time. And the designer said, don't interface this band. And I disagree. I think you should interface your front band with some lightweight interfacing, either for knit or for woven, depending on if you're making it like I did in a stable knit. I think that would improve this a lot. Now, will I take this off and replace it? Nah, probably not. This was free fabric. It was gifted to me in a box of fabric that I got. I made it expressly for the purpose of testing out this pattern and deciding if I wanted to make it again in something else. Now there's not a ton of reviews on this pattern, and I think in part because there are just some things that just don't absolutely work right. What I did love, and I haven't put them on yet, are the pockets, and they are oversized and they actually span a little bit of the side seam. They go back here. So I don't know how that's going to look. I'll have to put them on and pin them on and let you know. I always make my pockets lined because I think they work better, they hold better, and they're easier to sew. So I have to pick out some fabric that I'll put on the lining of it. So what I didn't like about the band, and you'll see this in the model photos, is in the longer version, without interfacing it, you see how that's all wavy down there? I don't love that. And if you look on the model version that's sewn by Closet Core, it does exactly this. I think if that band is stabilized and is in a better fabric, I think this will actually hang a little better. It'll hang a little bit more like this, and like, no, I can't even make this one do it. There we go, like that. So I think it'll hang a little better. So definitely interface this if you're gonna make the Quince day robe. It's got a lot of options. It comes in a shorter version. It's got, you can leave the sleeve bands off or on. They say 16 different variations, and I think if they're counting if you belt it or if you don't belt it or whatever the case might be. I haven't decided. I have the belt cut out and I have the belt carriers cut out. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that. What I really wanted was to try this out so that I could make a different garment. And the garment I'm making, and I have pictures on my blog, paradise-graphic.com or sewparadise.com if you want to just Google that. It should come up. The garment that I'm intending to make is precious fabric. I bought it in Italy. I have 2 yards, and there's a giant chunk I cut out of it for God knows what, a sample? I don't know, something. Anyway, I cut it out, so I have to work around that. It's like this big. I don't know what I was thinking. Normally you just watch, you do this big, but I don't know. So I have 2 yards, that's it. I have very little fabric to work with that. So I'm thinking a short cropped something kimono-ish jacket. I don't know that this one's gonna be the one. I just don't love this one well enough. Now that being said, I do think I should give this one a fair shot and maybe make it in another lightweight woven in the shorter version and interface the band to see if I really do like it. So before I say don't sew this pattern, I like to sew it 3 times so I can give you my best impression. Now, last night I did not like this at all. I didn't like the band. I just felt like I'd wasted a couple of hours of my time. I was a little bit unhappy about it, and that's okay. So not every pattern is going to work for you, and not every pattern is going to be well drafted, and not every pattern is going to be perfect, and it's okay. What you want to do is be sure that the fabric you're making it out of initially is fabric that you don't really care about. It was either inexpensive, somebody gave it to you. By the way, when my friends gift me fabric, I take it. Yes, I have a giant stash of fabric. I take even the ugly shit because I can make things out of that ugly shit that I don't really love, but I can test out a pattern and say, do I like this or do I not like this? Now in this case, this came in a box that I got on free cycling, and I didn't even realize I had it. I was looking for something else, some ribbing that I knew was in there, and I went and found this and I thought, oh, I could make something out of that. So do I hate it? No, I don't hate it. I think there's some merits to this pattern. I think there's some options. Are there potentially better patterns that are drafted for this? Yes, possibly. There's a couple of other ones that are similar to the Wixton. If you guys remember the whole debacle with the Wixton unfolding jacket, I think that designer was unfairly targeted. That jacket is no longer available, but there is another one called the Ginger Jacket, and it's in So News magazine this month, and it's November of 2022, in case you're looking around for that. But that's another one that might be a potential if you want to do a kimono style jacket and have it be like mid-thigh. The duster length, I definitely would choose something, I don't know, I haven't figured out what else I would do different. I love the sleeves. I just feel like there's a few things on this pattern that aren't perfect, and I would definitely change it. So the 2 things I'm going to recommend to you in my blog are, number 1, check out my blog because you'll be able to see the other fabrics I'm choosing and what I'm going to be doing with it and my thought process as I was making this. Number 2, make this a curved seam under here. You can see that right here. Just get yourself a piece of paper, tape it in this square, and round it off from here to here. Give yourself a nice round in there. Don't just come in close here. Give yourself a nice round. It'll come out better, I promise. The second thing that you ought to do is interface the front band. Even though they don't tell you to interface the front band, always interface the front bands. And I actually, that's falling all the way to the floor. I actually like to do my bands a little differently than this, and I probably would too. They have you actually sew the band down first, and then they have you turn and then stitch, and you can see I didn't even bother to fold it because this just doesn't ravel, and I haven't trimmed it either, and turn and top stitch. What I would actually do is sew your band first, okay, and then serge it, and then actually serge your band on, and then flip that serging to the inside and top stitch. That's what I would do. I think it would get a cleaner finish. Your band will be totally finished when you put it on, and I think it will be a lot nicer. Now, the only challenge is then you have to finish this down here at the bottom, but the way they have you do this, I didn't really love this either because it basically looks like you serge the band on, right? Because they don't have you actually fold over and do the corner. Anyway, so I would actually do the bands in that way, and I would definitely interface it. So is the Quince worth $16? I don't know. That's a tough one for me. This is such a basic garment, and I think there's so many other instructions out there, and there's so many changes I would make to this. I don't know if I would spend $16. I got it for free. Is it worth a free garment? Yes, it absolutely is. If it's worth it, if you got it for free because they were offering a promotion and you have it in your sewing pattern stash, I got it printed, so I got it PDF plotting. I printed it up, so it probably cost me $5 to print it, maybe $8, so it wasn't totally free. Will I make it again? Maybe, with some changes. Now, in the worst case scenario, I make the belt and I put the belt on, and now I have myself a really styling bathrobe. And that may be what this garment ends up being, is a bathrobe, because no one would see it and it would be kind of chic having this faux suede. But that's my review of the Quince day robe.